All right, good evening, everybody. We're here at PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. It is Monday, July 29th, 2024, and let's dive in here to the markets. I'm going to start with Econo Day and take a look at their calendar because tomorrow is the FOMC meeting and Wednesday is the FOMC announcement, and then the press conference at 2:30. So there will be volatility in the markets. We'll come back to this. Let's go look at uh, the manual trading systems. So this is the combination of the indexes all put together, and we've been dealing with a relatively bullish market, and this is a pullback that we've been dealing with. So it's really what we've been talking about for a long time. The end of the month is Wednesday, so along with FOMC, uh, the Federal Open Market Committee, I believe that's what that stands for, um, where they set interest rates and yada yada yada. Uh, this, yeah, that'll be the mark the end of the month, and we'll see where we go from there. Right now, and I don't know if I got into this stuff over the weekend, but um, I've been messing around with a dual RSI system, and it really isn't much different than our true momentum system. However, I do like the fact that that this alone right here, when this RSI pulls back the purple line and then jumps back up again, is a really nice indication when when the longer term is up, which is there's two ways of looking at it. The green bars on the histogram and the gold line that's not red. If it's under, it's red, and that's when you're on a deeper pullback. So you get the red, and then you get a bounce in the green, and then a red back down again. And I don't even think that one bounced all the way into green, and then red back down again, and then you're off to the races to go get into an uptrend. So that actually, if you look all the way through that, and this is really not a tradable instrument because we're looking at all the markets put together. But if you look here, even when we got these red bars and pivots, if you just pulled your stop up to the bottom of the pivot, because this was green the whole way, and every time it just bounced, even though, well, actually most of the days you didn't even get a close below the 21, so which is the orange line. So it really didn't call out that way until, or it didn't stop out until you got into this zone over here where you really were falling. And the point is that is a pretty effective tool in my tool belt to be able to effectively know how bad is this pullback. Right now, the pullback, the histogram is still green. The long-term indicator, which is it's really an average RSI, is still gold or yellow, and it hasn't been red since those pullbacks back here. So I just flipped that over to the S&P 500 just to be clear. But so this pullback isn't as bad as it appears, and that's not to say this can't roll over because it can. But right now that's sort of, and the future cloud helps too, by the way. So the S&P is, I'm still expecting it to. The moving averages are generally in the right direction, and yeah, generally speaking, I still think this is looks like it's going to be a higher market, but we'll see. There's a lot more to look at. Here's the Dow, which did bounce here in the last few days, and you can see that was after a relatively large pullback, and we got a bounce, and this indicator actually helped with that. And by the way, on the monthly chart over here, this indicator is giving us it's It's been bullish for a while. You know, many months. Each one of these bars is a month. And yes, it also works on a weekly basis. Basically letting us not get freaked out when we're in a pullback. Alright, this is going on too long, so I'm going to keep going. The NASDAQ today, a deeper pullback. It is red, but we can also start to see, when this starts to crawl back up and turn green again, which is what this red trend bar is also showing it, in case I can't see it through the lines. It's just a nice little tag to be able to see. And the Russell, it's been up there. That's also the IYM. I'm sorry, IWM. And yeah, it had a little bit of a pullback here today as well. So the transports, IYT. Actually, I see this as that was a breakout to the upside and a pullback. I'm not giving it very much room because of the trends down, because the bars are red, and because we're under the 21. However, I'd say there's a decent chance that's going to bounce there, but we'll see. And I'll show you maybe a reason why. Well, it's not as good of a reason as what I've seen in some of the other charts. Some of the other charts are actually starting to curl back up and jump back up above and turn green on the 15-minute and the intraday time frames. That's what I was hoping for, but IYT is not one of them. Yeah, since this is up, I'll go push this back to ES. And so we've been dealing with higher volatility. We did come back in on Friday, which was a big up day in most of the markets. Today it's a pause. Usually we only get 2 of these, so we'll see what tomorrow and Wednesday brings. We could get a shock like this to the upside that just pulls back in, and actually that would be a pretty interesting finish if that played out like that. Typically you don't get, markets won't show up to do exactly the same thing over and over again, but history does have a way of repeating itself. Let's look at oil since we're here. Oil's been down. And it still has a bullish future cloud, so I'm still looking for a buy and a chance to buy back in. And that was also a break of structure to the upside and a pullback now. So in theory, this low should hold. But I'm not going to buy it here. And at the same time, the end of the month right now this is showing a monthly candle that's gray, but we are in a squeeze. So if and when we get up and actually would go up, this could turn into one heck of a trade to the upside. TLT bonds, I'm in. It was worth it for me. I'm a little ahead of what the monthly chart's showing, but I've got an awful lot of good things going on in the daily chart to want me to be in it. So that's what I did. Let's look at DOG. Okay, so that's an inverse ETF for the Dow. It looks like nothing I would want to be long, so I feel pretty good about being long in the actual Dow. And gold, GLD. So gold's actually holding up okay too, but it's not a place I would necessarily want to buy right now. So, alright, and let's flip over to stockcharts.com and do the bullish percent indexes. The industrials didn't move today. The NYA really also didn't move today, just a little bit. The transportation index up 9.09%. So just to repeat myself, that means 9.09% of the stocks in the transportation index flipped to a column of or to a bullish a point and figure buy signal. So, and it's a bullish condition. So went from bearish to bullish. So that's all this is an indication of bearishness and bullishness. And the Nasdaq went up 0.64%, which is not very much. The S&P 500 went up 0.91%. The S&P 100 went down 1.54%. And the Nasdaq 100 went up 2.63%. So speaking of which, let's look at Nvidia. Oh yeah, we should be looking at. So Nvidia has earnings. It's still a month out. Microsoft has earnings tomorrow after the market. Apple earnings on Thursday, I think that is. Tesla is something I will be interested to potentially buy. And okay, I'll leave you guys with that. So, hope it helps, and I know it helps me. So, take care, good trading, and have a great night.